In this video, I'm going to cover off facilities. Now, for the potash guys out there, if you have tailings ponds to gather your that all your liquid goes into before going down in the disposal well, you've got it pretty good because there's such a big area and volume in that pond that anything that's in the water is going to settle down to the bottom before it goes down the disposal well, and you're probably not going to have anything that goes down your well that's going to plug you off. For the guys who are doing solution mining and maybe don't have a pond, it might be a little bit more challenging because you might have some solids carry over that you're going to have to deal with. And there's probably an intermediate step in there where you use some centrifuges or some filtering to get your water clean enough to put down your well where you're not plugging it off. It's fairly straightforward for the most part for potash, just because it's a lot cleaner and you have less to worry about. For the oil guys in the crowd, it's a little bit more challenging because you got to worry about two things. One, you've got solids, well, three things really: solids, oil, and your scale. So I'm just going to draw a simple facility on the board so we can take a look at it. So your water comes into, a couple tanks. Now you're going to get some initial separation of your water, oil, and solids in these tanks, which is good because you'll get some oil at the top, you'll get some solids sink to the bottom. The only challenge you're going to have is retention time. So as your facility gets busier, you're going to have less retention time in these tanks, and then you're going to have to start carrying oil and sand carry over, or solids carry over down the line where it finally goes down into your well. And if you get any amount of oil and solids carry over down your well, you're going to plug it off. Now, we can put some filter pots here where the line comes in and you filter the water. You get filter canisters in there. And that'll be good. But if you got too much oil carryover, which is always the biggest challenge with, and then here's your well. Any kind of oil carryover is going to plug these filters up real quick. And the thing about having oil carryover to here and down your well is that's revenue lost because oil is worth money. So what I usually do is put an intermediate step in here. And it can look like a couple different things: a centrifuge, flat plate technology. You've got some different options there, but essentially something to help strip more of the oil out. So as soon as your facility gets busy, you won't be able to get all the oil off the top of your tanks. It'll just be moving through those tanks too fast. So you need something else here to strip more of the oil out, because that's revenue anyhow before it hits your filters. And I always like having filters because if you have nothing here and you have an oops somewhere upstream, it ends up down your well and plugging up your well, which costs you money. Plus, if it's oil carrying over, it also costs you more money. Whereas if you have filters here, if they plug up, then very suddenly, all of a sudden now you go, okay, something happened upstream that's causing problems plugging our filters. So that's a very basic overview of a disposal setup on the facility side. On the facility, there's a lot to get into there, and it's a real case by case. If you have any questions or comments on this, feel free to send me an email. If you'd like some help with your project, feel free to get a hold of me. Send me an email. I'll line up a time when we can talk and we can see if it'll be a good fit between us.